Hi friends, Ariel here for day 2 of our 5 days of beginners gentle yoga or something, sort of kind of like that. We're gonna do a few poses that we did in our last class. The big change today is that we're gonna add a bit onto our meditation portions. So often yoga in the West is believed to be just everything that happens here on your mat physically, but it's really extremely complex. It's very layered. It's very, very old. It's a very old practice. So lots of information that 1000% we will not be able to cover in these 5 days, but one of the ways that we'll start to integrate the many other things that makes up what yoga is by expanding our meditation practice in each of these classes. So today we're going to add a little bit onto it before we move through some gentle poses. Let's see, we are seated only today. We're going to do a little wrist, a little ankle work. We'll do a little spine work, a little holding of poses longer than we did last time. And of course, finish with our very brief meditation, and we'll call it a day. So come to a comfortable position, whatever that means for you, whether you're seated, you're lying down, maybe you're in a piece of furniture, whatever you want, whatever feels good. Softening the gaze or closing the eyes, palms down or open on the thighs, of course. You can even have your hands on your body, on your chest, on your stomach, if that feels good. A nice cycle of breath to mark the start of your practice. If you'd like, letting attention wander through the body, noticing stuff, or noticing the absence of stuff. Do you have any sensory input from your body sitting here? Do you have anything mentally, emotionally that's lingering, hanging around? And it's absolutely okay if there is. All you need to do is notice that it's there. As we're seated, a small note: you do not have to remain still. If you want to wiggle or sway or fidget, always, always, always allowed. That's in meditation and the entirety of our class. Maybe take a moment to reflect on the class from yesterday. See if you would like to do anything in this class slightly differently based on how you felt yesterday. Wonderful. If you are noticing that it's difficult to get the mind to focus or to stay quiet, welcome. Welcome to meditation. I'll give you an option here to start to focus on your breath. And we'll keep it nice and simple, and we'll assign a number to each breath. So as you inhale, in your head to yourself, you think 1. As you exhale, 2. Inhale, 3. Work your way up to 10. And then when you get to 10, circle back to 1. If you find at some point you are just deeply in thought about something completely unrelated, that's okay. Start over or pick up wherever you left off. Doesn't matter. And go ahead and release any focus on the breath. Let's take a big cycle of breath together. When you're ready, focusing the gaze, opening the eyes. And we'll start to move a little bit. So I'm gonna adjust my lower half so I'm seated a little more firmly. I'm even gonna pull this is the nicest way I've ever heard this said, I'm gonna pull the fleshy part of my butt out of the way. So I sit a little more solidly on the earth. We're gonna move and breathe with the arms like we did yesterday. Inhale, taking the arms up overhead. Remember, you can make this movement look like literally anything. You can even not move, and you can just think about it. You can make your arms straight, not straight, doesn't matter. Good. Ooh, these plants are coming after me. Inhaling up, exhaling down at your own pace. We'll do one more here. Beautiful. You can relax from that. We're gonna work on the wrists a little bit. So I've got my arms here, turn to the side so you can see a little bit, and I've got my elbows soft. So avoid any of this. Keep it a little tighter to the body. Slight fists, very gentle fists, and we're just gonna draw circles in one direction. Good, and the other direction. Popping and cracking is relatively normal. If it hurts, if it's uncomfortable, please stop. Don't do this. Some people's wrists are just, and they do not like any sort of attention. And if that's you, that's okay. Just be gentle. We're gonna stretch the ankles. So I'm gonna hold on to my leg so that I can lift it up here. If that doesn't work for you, it's not comfortable, you don't want to, you can lean against something. So lean back so that you can pick up the leg. You can come up and sit in a chair, or you can have your legs straight out in front of you. So however you have room, we'll draw circles with one ankle. Good, change direction. Friendly reminder, you can make this range of motion virtually imperceptible if that is where it's comfortable for you. Lovely, change sides, same thing. Drawing circles in one direction, the other direction. Not expecting this to look or feel any particular way, just noticing. Noticing however it looks. Good, release from that. Now remember yesterday we did our cat-cow, hands and knees, arch the spine, scoop the spine. We're gonna do that, but seated. So I'm gonna have my hands on my knees-ish. Anywhere on the lower half is fine. I grab onto my legs because it helps me to change direction, but it is optional. So for your inhale, poof your chest forward, tip the head up, back ever so slightly. Exhale, do the opposite. So sitting back, curling in on yourself, I'm gonna drop my chin. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Now you've done it a couple of times. How do you need to change it to make it more comfortable in your body? Do you need to make it much smaller? Do you wanna make it much bigger? Do you wanna sit out and skip it? Do you want to come over to hands and knees and do the cat-cow we did yesterday? We have a million options. All of them are correct. Good. We'll move back and forth a few more times here. Going at your own pace. When you feel ready, experimenting with the shape, with the size, maybe with the speed. You'll only know what feels good and what doesn't work by trying, by experimenting. So I will give you lots of ideas, I'll give you lots of options, but ultimately it's up to you to know, because the answer will change every day. Good. Release from that. We're gonna take one leg straight off the body. And I say straight off. This is like perfectly straight off of my hip, but out to the side doesn't really matter. This other leg is bent sort of kind of just out of the way. So if bent like this doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can take, of course, a block underneath for extra support, or just, I don't know, get it out of the way. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. We're gonna turn at least a little bit towards the straight leg, and then if you want, hinging forward if that's accessible to you. If you're already feeling it, maybe you wanna lean back a little bit. And do I have a strap? You have the option to take, if you don't have a strap, you can grab a towel, a t-shirt you can grab onto your pant leg. Just a little additional something to help you lean forward. Now, this pose mechanically is there's a little more going on than what we did yesterday. So there's more things to think about as you're settling here, because we'll stay here for about another minute. So as you're sitting here, check in with your straight leg knee. Is it hyperextended? If yes, put something under it so that it can't. And it can be as simple as taking your fist underneath the back of the knee, just so you can't hyperextend. Checking in, how does your low back feel? Does it feel okay? Does it feel like, whoa, my goodness, something is happening there? If that's your answer, probably we should make some adjustments. Maybe come up a little bit, maybe readjust the angle of your torso. Lovely. We'll take 2 more cycles of breath here before we go to the other side. Taking this moment briefly to be curious. Beautiful. When you're ready, same thing, other side. So taking that leg that was out of the way, straight off the body, sort of, kinda. I use these cues so you know vaguely in which direction you're supposed to go. None of them are meant to be taken word for word. So with that in mind, squaring the shoulders to the front leg before you come forward. If you're not coming forward, you're leaning back. Lovely. Be mindful if you're leaning backwards that your elbows have not hyperextended. Speaking of, check your straight leg knee. And then explore. Explore the rest of your body. Where are you getting any sort of sensory input? Are you feeling anything in your back? Are you feeling something in your neck? If you are feeling something in your neck, think about what shape that part of your body is taking right now. So I'm noticing my head's like dipping forward. I have really quite a horrendous posture here, and I feel it. I definitely feel something. So I'm going to quote unquote fix that part of my body. So I'm just going to be mindful of my posture, mindful of the angle of the back of my neck, and by pulling my chin back and sort of straightening this upper part of my spine, now that sensory input of, okay, something's going on, is gone. That's how you figure out where you should be in these poses. Looking for signals from the muscles, from the joints, and then trying different shapes to find the one where the information that you're receiving feels more appropriate. I know that that's very vague, and if you're very, very new, don't let that explode your brain. I promise it'll start to make more sense. You'll start to understand it more as we go along and as you practice more. Lovely. Come on up. We're going to come into a straddle. Straddle is as wide for you as the sensory input to your brain feels. Nice, lovely, comfortable, whatever your goal is for today. So wide, narrow, I don't care. Are your knees hyperextended? Please say no. Leaning back, if you're already feeling quite a lot and you want to lessen the sensation. Sitting upright or beginning to hinge forward. This one I like because you can kind of use your fingers on the mat, on the floor. If you're on a wooden floor, the natural suction of your palms is great. Coming forward only if you want to. Only if you want to. Now we're gonna adjust this ever so slightly. Come back to a slightly more neutral position if you were leaning forward. Square, quote unquote, square your shoulders to one leg. And as you can see, I absolutely don't make it all that way, but my brain knows to turn my shoulders this way, so that's what the cue is. And then same idea. If you're already like, wow, whoa, I feel it, stay where you are. If you want more sensation, you can start to work yourself closer to the ground, closer to your leg, with the option of holding on to your pants, grabbing something like a strap around that foot. Again, completely optional. If for this entire class you've decided to sit and just think about it, just think about maybe what it could possibly feel like to do these poses, you are still doing yoga and you are still doing this class exactly as it's intended to be done, which is for you. There's no... Good. Come on up. I'll switch sides. Same idea. That you don't have to move to have completed a yoga class. You don't have to feel it in your muscles. There doesn't have to be a burn. You don't have to think, wow, what a great workout at the end. You can. There are ways in which yoga exists in that way, sure. But it doesn't have to. That is not a requirement, and it is certainly not a requirement with me. Give yourself some grace. You're trying something new. That's potentially scary and hard, and maybe you have no idea about me and my quirkiness, I'll call it. Trying something new. It's okay if it turns out to be literally nothing like how you thought it should be, so long as it's still acceptable to you. Come on up. Lovely job. You have survived the physical portion of this class. Come to a comfortable seat. Maybe you'd like to lie down today. We'll be here for about 2 minutes for our final meditation. Palms down, palms open on the body. Take your time. Take your time to get situated in a way that feels comfortable to you right now. When you get there, softening the gaze, closing the eyes. Optional big cycle of breath or several. And then let your attention wander around. What interesting things can you find? Do you feel muscles? Are you aware of them as you're sitting? Maybe it's neutral. Is there something happening, or has something changed mentally, emotionally? Your sense of calmness, does that feel different? Do you feel grounded? Again, just wondering, being curious. And perhaps a moment of gratitude for yourself for showing up again today. And perhaps the decision to show up again tomorrow. Knowing that if your body doesn't want to move, you don't have to. You can still show up tomorrow and participate and not move if you don't want. Addressing any final things that need a little attention before we wrap up. As you feel ready, one big cycle of breath before visually returning, opening the eyes. Thank you for joining me again today. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you feel nice today. I hope it went a little more smoothly for you than yesterday. I'm here. Even if you're doing this class years later. I'm here. Leave a comment, whatever. I don't care. I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to hear how it's going for you. And of course, if something isn't working in your body and you can't figure it out, let me know. I will help you. Thank you for joining me. My name is Ariel. I will see you again tomorrow.